Hi there, it's Unicorn. Today I'm going to do my July and my vacation wrap-up. That means my wrap-up is from the 1st of July to the 5th of August. I read 7 books during that period of time, and I was happy about it, considering I had a really slow reading start from the beginning of July, and I was gone for vacation for 2 weeks. The first book I have finished in July, I actually read it in Chinese, and it is translated from Japanese. It is this one. The name of this book is The Colorless Tsuzuki Kazaki and His Year of Pilgrimage, and it is by Haruki Murakami, and I will insert an English cover here. This book is talking about our main character's life, and actually he has a mystery in his life. That is, he went to high school with 4 of his best friends, and they all have some color in their names. For example, white, black, red, and blue. And he's the only one without any color in his name, so he feels he's like colorless. And after they graduate from high school, our main character went to Tokyo to continue his college study, and he was separated from the 4 of his friends. And 1 year on holiday, he went back to his hometown and found out that all of his friends decided to not talk to him anymore, and he does not know the reason. And this book is all about friendship and relationships, especially in the clique, and the insecure feeling of them in cliques. And it's also about people's changes when they are growing up and with some mental illness issue involved. And this is my first Haruki Murakami's books in many years. I have read his book when I was in middle school and high school, but after that I kind of doesn't continue with reading his works. And I remember that my first of his book is Norwegian Woods, and this book has actually gave me a very similar kind of feeling of Norwegian Woods, and especially for the writing. And I think the writing of this book is actually different from his later work with some peculiar writings. And I just want to add one thing that I related to this book in this review, that this is the first Chinese book that I read in 2017, and I really miss the feeling that I can read 100 pages in an hour. And the second book I have finished is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. It is a dystopian novel set in the Republic of Gilead, where women's only value is to produce babies. So the women in the book have a very strict life. For example, they cannot read, they can only talk in a pattern, and they cannot have their own emotions. And our main character of this book is a woman called Alfred, and talking about her life and her life before the Republic of Gilead. And I was very enjoying this book and gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I have a full review of this book. I'll link someone up there and in the description box below. And the third book I have finished is The Mystery Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. Since I decided to read and reread all of Agatha Christie's books, and this is the first one in the Poirot series, I picked this one up at first. And in this book we met Poirot and his friend Hastings for the first time, and we solved a murder case together with them. I enjoyed reading this book as a cozy mystery and gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. But in the middle, I think there's something happened purely to misleading the readers and maybe misleading Hastings as well. And the event that happens doesn't have any connection with the murder case itself. It has some connection with the background of this novel, which is the First World War, but I don't find the event was necessary. But overall, I really enjoyed this book, and I'm more than excited to continue with my Agatha Christie reading project. And the next one is an audiobook that I have listened to. It's Hunger by Roxane Gay, and I think it is a great and worth reading memoir of hers. In the book, she basically talking about the history of her body, which was shown on the subtitle, and she was talking about why her body became her body. And she discussed and told the reader about the rape that happened when she was 12, and how she was influenced by the rape culture and protect herself by eating and being silent. With that as a background knowledge of her body, she continued to discuss what's the feeling of being a fat woman in America and how does other people and the world treat her. I was astonished by her experience, and I really love her personality, and I admire her for having the power to speak out nowadays for her and for other silent victims. The writing in the book is really beautiful, but in some part it's get repetitive, so that's the reason why I give this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I recommend this book to everybody, and I want to do a full review of this book in the future. And the next book I finished is Autumn by Alice Smith. I have read this book because it's longlisted for the Man Booker Prize 2017, and when I saw the longlist I thought that's cool because I want to read Alice Smith anyway, and I buy this hard copy because I want to reread it soon. The book is mainly talking about the friendship or relationship between a little girl and an elderly man, but it's also reflected other social issues in the world such as political issues and economics and arts. And in this book there are many hidden gems, for example all the references it used and all the artworks it mentioned and all the books that the main character was reading. And I really like the opening of this book. The opening of this book is, "It was the worst of times. It was the worst of times." I think if you are a fan of Charles Dickens, you will get my idea. Overall, I enjoyed my experience of reading this book. However, I didn't give it a rating stars for now because I think it is a book that's worth and need to be reread. And I will do that pretty soon. And the next book is another audiobook that I listened to. It is My Life in France by Julia Child. And I have to say, I love Julia Child. This is her memoir and basically talking about how her relationship with French and French cooking was developed over the years. In the book, we follow her life from when she discovered the joy of French cooking to she has spent many years to write the Mastering in the Art of French Cooking. And we also get a lot of detailed and interesting things happen in her life, especially the ones with her partner Paul and her friends in French and other cooks. I was really enjoying the book and her personality, and I even watched some of her cooking shows on YouTube. I love the fact that she took cooking seriously instead of a hobby, and I think she's more a scientist than a cook. And I love the fact that she spent many hours doing research and doing experiments to find the perfect recipe. And for myself, I was influenced by her passion about cooking and even want to cook French cuisine again. Why did I say again? I never cook French foods. And also, it's my first time to discover that she was on her 30s when she discovered cooking, and that actually inspired me to do the things that I'm really interested and passionate about. And I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. And the last book I have finished is Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo, and this is a book talking about childless and how childless affect love. Where our two main characters met when they're younger and they fall in love instantly, and soon after that they were happily married. And in their country, it is usual for a man to have multiple wives in order to have a lot of children, but at the beginning of their marriage, they decided to form this one-on-one relationship. However, things did not last because after many years, they still cannot have any children, so pressures come from everywhere. You'll be surprised to find how the women's values changed in the book just because if they have children or not, and how the people around them will judge a woman just because if they can have children or if they can have a boy. In the book, the phrase of "a woman's job is to produce children" has been used by many of the traditional characters, and that made me think maybe in their eyes, women are like the manufacturing machines purely to produce children, and even the people who speak the phrase are women as well. I was very attached to the female characters at the beginning of the book, but with the story going on, I feel I'm more and more difficult to understand her, and I actually dislike or hate some of the choices that she made. And speaking of characters, the book was written in two persons' perspective, so we are not only getting the female perspective in the family, we can also hear from the male character. And because of that, we can see how many poor decisions he has made, and I don't like his decisions either. But the writing in this book is really good. Even though I cannot understand them in some way, I can still feel their feelings. So this is like a medical experience for me, and I cannot put this book down. I read it in 2 sittings with a sleep in between. The book is set in Nigeria and it shows the culture and the situation of that country vividly, and I love to learn other countries and other cultures through books. Oh, and in the end, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. And that's all the book I have read in July and in the first 5 days of August. I hope you enjoyed my wrap-up. If there are any books that interest you, you are more than welcome to discuss on the comment section below. If you want more bookish content from me, please subscribe to me so that I can see you next time. Happy reading! Bye!